Hello and welcome to Chicken Bros. My name is David Heath.
Sorry, no Jagers is busy. You getting an upgrade.
I get it. Oh, that's funny.
There we go. That was good.
And joining us today is special guest Lupine Sojourner.
Hello.
So this is about this year's Superman movie directed by James Gunn and in the beginning of the new DC movie universe.
Mm-hmm.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
I was skeptical because if you have been alive the last 14-ish years, DC has not been doing well in the movie industry. So I was like, I mean, the trailer looked
Yeah.
good. The trailer looks
I w-
good. Just
yeah.
like cautious, I guess.
Yeah, I was cautiously optimistic just because I liked James Gunn's work and I liked Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked all of that. So I was kind of like, okay, if anybody can pull this off, it's probably James Gunn. And then it did not disappoint.
No, it did not. Like
It was so good.
as like a former diehard DC fan who actually does know a lot about like Superman. Like I was like, okay, I just need a movie where he's not a dark, brooding like war soldier. Like that is not my Superman. And
Right.
David Cornsweet, honestly, I did not see an actor playing Superman. I saw Superman, which I have not seen
Right.
since Christopher Reeve. Rest in peace.
Mm.
I also
Yeah,
like that.
like for me, I have not really like engaged that much with Superman specific content. Like, I've seen the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cartoons.
Heck
I've
yeah.
seen the Snyderverse,
I love those.
sadly. And just stuff like that, but I never really like went out of my way to engage with Superman content too much. So this
Mhm.
was very refreshing and like I'm starting to see why there are so many people that really, really like this character. And it
Yep.
just yeah, David Corenswet's performance just really nailed it for me, and I was just like, "Okay, this is Superman, and this is really cool. I really like it."
I really
It
like
was really
that I can say that there's a Superman actor who I share a name with.
woo!
I also really like that this movie is kind of it doesn't hold your hand in the sense that like it's meant for people who know Superman because it's not an origin
Right.
story.
Yeah.
No.
James Gunn has even said like you don't need to see uh Krypton exploding. We don't need to see Bruce Wayne's parents gunned down in an alley. We don't need to see the spider bite Peter Parker. Like
Right.
he wants to make movies for the fans. For the fans.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, for me, not being a big Superman fan and just knowing kind of general lore, it was not isolating for me to jump into this. Like, he had enough intro where you got your feet under you with this new universe. You're like, "Okay, this is the established," like, with that text in the intro, like, that set you up and you're like, "Okay, we can roll now," and then it jumps right in.
Right.
Yep.
It is
Three
funny when
thousand
you
Really
take
years
cool.
ago the first meta appeared on Earth. 30 years ago, a baby crash landed on Earth. 3 years ago, Superman made his appearance. 3 hours ago, Superman lost for the first time.
Yeah, or it was like 3 hours ago, what was it? The Hammer of Baravia, or no, it was 3 weeks ago he interfered with that invasion in Johampur, something like that. And
yeah,
then it
something
was
like
like
that.
3 hours
It's
ago
hard to say.
the Hammer of Baravia appeared, and 3 minutes ago Superman lost a battle for the first time in his life. And then it's just like, that whole text is over like snow, the snowy landscape, and then Superman just crashes into the snow and like you could tell how badly he was beaten. And then
Yeah, like,
he has
his
to call for
breathing was very
crypto.
labored.
Yeah,
Crypto.
I felt so bad for him. I was like, oh dang, dude, like, jeez.
Yeah. Starting off a Superman movie with him losing. That's an interesting choice, but hey, it just shows he's
Yeah.
easily as fallible.
Yep, exactly.
And I love
And
crypto.
like, yeah. Superman calls crypto and is like, I need you to get me home. And he just jumps up. Like, poor
Dog
Superman's
too.
just like, ow, ow, crypto, ow. Ah, dog.
Oh man. He drags him back to the Fortress of Solitude, which looks awesome.
That it was stunning. I was like, oh my word, that's crazy.
it was new in that it like would like appear and disappear,
Yeah.
but also
I
it
thought that was
still
cool.
looked like the Christopher Reeve Fortress of Solitude. Like it had that vibe, minus the fact that Christopher Reeve's Fortress of Solitude didn't have robots. But
Yeah, that was new to me. I was like, oh, the robots. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm not sure if
it's
that's like in the comics or anything, but it was fun.
some
I
of them.
loved the robots.
Some of them it is. There are certain, because that's the thing about like DC, like just comics in general, is that there are sometimes like different incarnations, different storylines, different
Continuities.
continuities. Yeah.
Yeah. They were fun. Like I loved the robots.
Yeah.
Like especially that one like new one. I mean, like Superman like nods at her, like, hey. And she's like, he looked at me. It was so cute.
I also like the fact that they had to strap him to a table and expose him to sunlight in order for him to properly heal. Like, oh yeah, because he gets his strength from the sunlight. That's neat.
Yeah, I don't think he was necessarily strapped down, but yeah, they put him on the table. They had to kind of hold him down a little bit when the sun was drastically speeding up his healing. And like, because they said he had, what was it, like 13 broken bones or something? Like he had a lot of broken bones, and those were like, you could kind of hear them resetting. And it was just, it was kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, you got the sense that healing was painful for him.
I mean, healing is painful anyway. Like, even like it's even worse at like rapid speed because you're experiencing all that healing pain at once. So yeah.
Yeah, and like on the trailers, I remember before the movie came out, people saw that and were just like, why is sunlight hurting him? And I was just like, guys, first of all, we don't know the context for that. Like, calm down. Second of all, he's being healed. Like, that's gonna be painful. Like, I never had a problem seeing that in like the trailers or the one little clip.
I feel like
come on.
I feel like the Snyder fans were very upset with this movie because it wasn't what they wanted. But to be fair, what they want isn't Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it shows him like fighting that guy, the Hammer Baravia, that like what's the word? Metahuman, who operates very similarly to Superman in that he flies and is very strong.
Yeah.
I can't remember how exactly he defeated him, or if he even did defeat him.
He kind of did, because like obviously behind the scenes you see as the viewer that like Lex Luthor has all of these basically battleship combinations.
Infogene B7.
Yeah. B17, 200A or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I think he did beat Superman down, and that's when he like falls into the ground and like creates like a small crater after the hammer smacks him down, and then the civilians help him up. Basically.
Right. Yeah.
That one guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sweet. He was like, you saved us, Superman. Now we're gonna save you.
I love that. Was my favorite thing about this movie is him interacting and caring for the people.
That's Superman.
Yeah. And then then we see that one chick, the engineer, was looking for the Fortress of Solitude while Superman was fighting the Hammer of Baravia.
Yeah.
And then, but she couldn't get in because it was going down into the ice, and B, obviously they didn't have Kryptonian DNA, so they couldn't get in. But yeah, that was cool. And then, trying to think. Oh yeah, and then I think they showed the scene at Daily Planet. Where Clark, you get a glimpse, your first scene with Clark.
Right.
Yeah.
That was so cute. Like him on the phone with his mom, and like everybody teasing him.
I love that.
That was cute.
I just wanted to let you know how proud we are of you.
Don't be a stranger.
We read your article.
I love that. Good down home goodness.
Oh yeah.
We are Kansas farmers.
Mom Kent are like such a big highlight of the movie for me. I loved them so much.
Did you see what the actress of Ma Kent said about Supergirl?
No.
She somebody asked her what she thought about Supergirl, and she said like something like, "Ma Kent would want to have a word with her, like just get her on the right path." It's like yes, that's perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
And
we'll get into that later, but
I love that scene at the Daily Planet too, because it kind of fooled me, because I forgot how breakneck speed this movie was with just getting you into the lore, because I thought like Lois still didn't know, and then in the scene in her apartment, they're like talking about like, oh, she knows. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, like that was kind of funny because I'm just like, Clark, why would you break into her apartment without telling her? Like, I get it, you were trying to surprise her with dinner, but come on, dude. You can't just break into her apartment. Like, she had the baseball bat ready to go, and then she's like, oh, it's just my boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, because that's right, she wasn't expecting him.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And, like, I was like, oh, is somebody breaking into her apartment? I was like, who's breaking into her apartment? Like, I was like, this is odd. And then it was just Clark making breakfast for dinner.
Don't worry. Like I'll kick your ass. I got a new business. Oh, it's just you, Smallville.
Okay.
And then it gets to the scene that I really like where he wants to let her interview Superman, because apparently Clark's been doing it this whole time.
I love that. Like, you want me to interview? So like, you want me to interview Superman? Yeah. Like, okay, sure.
All right. And then just grills
Superman.
him.
Miss Lane.
I something about the way that he says Miss Lane. It was just like, oh, that's so, like, I don't know. There's something about that delivery. It was so good. Well, yeah.
It's because he, like Christopher Reeve, like, were able to like kind of differentiate between Clark and Superman. Like with Superman, his voice is, you know, deeper, more like
a little bit deeper. It's not like, you know, Christian Bale gravel. No, but there is a very distinct difference even in like the inflection of how he talks. Like, he just has a very different speech pattern as Superman versus Clark, and it was just cool to see. You know, like, he kind of like straightens up and he, you know, assumes the Superman posture. It was just cool.
And I love that Lois Lane didn't exactly go easy on him either. She went full reporter mode. Like, you know, you kind of went over there and kind of exuded your own will upon, you know, the guy of Bravia.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
you know, as like
people
the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, I wasn't representing anybody. I just didn't want people to die.
Yeah, and I love that the constant, like, is that on the record? You can't use it.
Yeah, you can't use it. And, like, you know, him struggling to pause the recording several times. Like, buddy, you're a reporter. You've been a reporter for like 3 years. How do you not know how to operate that little recorder? But whatever. It was funny.
And like the super shit thing. Like, you know, I feel personal about that.
You know, that one specifically irritates me.
I didn't make it up. It's just something that I saw online. Like,
yeah, that was funny. He's just like, you know, like, I don't look at social media. And then she just like mentions, like, you know, she sometimes sees him like looking at the computer all sad, or like clearly he does.
Okay, not a lot, just a little.
I do think that like that was a necessary, like, because a very necessary moment to show that like this relationship, it works, but it's not perfect, and like even she said like, I knew this wasn't going to work, and like that tense moment.
It is like a 3-month-old relationship, so it's like they are definitely still figuring each other out, figuring out how the relationship is going to work, especially now that she knows that he's Superman, and you know, like, I think that was very interesting. Like, I really liked that. You know, that their relationship isn't perfect. Like, you could tell how much they care about each other and they love each other, but it's just like they're still just new to the relationship, and it was very interesting.
Yeah, working it out. Like, and that's always the difficult part of a relationship anyway, is learning your partner's not just strengths but their weaknesses, and then add on top of that the fact that one of them's an alien. Yeah. An
alien. Not only that, the most powerful metahuman on the planet.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, you know, that would be a very interesting, you know, that would add such a, not necessarily pressure, but just like a very interesting element to any relationship, even just a friendship with him.
Totally.
But yeah, it is very interesting that like Lois's kind of first instinct during that conflict was kind of to cut and run a little bit. You know, she's just like immediately just like, oh man, I knew this wasn't going to work. And it was like, yeah, I felt bad for Clark though. He was just like, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And he kind of leaves in a huff, and I was just like, in the theater, I was like, I was just like, no, buddy, like, go back there, like, you know, don't just leave, talk it out. But then he doesn't, because he doesn't, you know, he's still learning how to be a boyfriend, I bet, and you know, it was cool. I liked that little tension.
Yeah. And then as an act of to distract Superman, Luthor unleashes the kaiju. That's literally what the Wikipedia page says on
Right.
Metropolis, so that he'll deal with it
Yeah.
while he and his cronies go and find the Fortress of Solitude.
Invade the Fortress of Solitude. Yeah, I liked the design of the kaiju. It almost kind of reminded me of an axolotl.
Oh
Cute.
yeah.
And then
It's kind of
freaking the Justice Gang busts in, which consists currently of Mr. Terrific, Hawk Girl, and Guy Gardner Green Lantern. And I gotta say this because
Okay.
I just have to. As a Green Lantern fan, I'm happy that my favorite superhero was given proper respect. Like they actually gave him made him look cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate Guy Gardner as a character. Like he would not be the Green Lantern I would have chosen. I would have gone with any other of the lanterns. Hal.
Yeah.
John.
I probably would have gone with Hal. Just because I thought John Stewart was a little bit more like the third Green Lantern.
He was. You're right.
So it's we needed to kind of go through, as I understand it, Guy Gardner was one of the first ones?
He was the original replacement for Hal.
Okay, so Hal was the first one. Okay.
Yeah, Hal.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll just go into quick, because if I get talking on this, I won't shut up.
Right.
But according to the lore, when Abin Sur, the Lantern of the Sector, was dying, there were two potential candidates for his successor, Hal and Guy. The ring went to Hal because he was geographically closer. So Guy has just as much claim to being a Green Lantern as Hal does. So when Hal figured that out, he was like, okay, let's have this guy be my successor in case something happens to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that is interesting. Okay. I did not know that, because the thing is, I was most familiar with Hawk Girl just from the cartoons. But Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner, I do not know a whole lot about. I kind of love to hate Guy Gardner now.
I mean, that's kind of his point.
He does those charismatic but kind of arrogant characters so well. It's so funny because he toes that line so well.
What's funny is that in animated properties, Nathan Fillion has voiced Hal Jordan a ton of times. So he could have been Hal Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny is Nathan Fillion said that his inspiration for Guy Gardner's snarkiness and sarcasm was Sophia from Golden Girls.
Yeah, that's funny.
Hal or Guy would be the one to say, "May your marinara sauce never cling to your pasta."
He would.
And I'm right there with you, Lupin. I never heard of Mr. Terrific.
Right.
Yeah, he's not a very well-known member of
that much.
He's not a very well. To be fair, the Justice League has most of DC's heroes on their roster at some point. So, but he's not a very well-known character, which is kind of a shame because he's actually pretty cool. But
he seems really, really cool.
He's just not one of the main heavy hitters. He's not Green Lantern or Superman or Batman.
That was kind of a surprising choice on James Gunn's part, not to go for the bigger names in the Justice League.
I mean, this is the guy who brought the Guardians of the Galaxy to the forefront of Marvel. So
he does love the oddballs.
Yeah. But I love the guy that plays Mr. Terrific. He did such a good job.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Terrific so much. Oh yeah, Darwin and X-Men Evolution or X-Men First Class, yeah.
Yeah. And what's the unfortunate part about this part is that when Luthor and them get into the Fortress of Solitude, they find that unfinished message from Jor-El. And and because part of it's it's in Kryptonian language, but it stops at a certain point because the craft that brought Superman here was damaged, and so Luthor finds it, recovers the rest of the message, and then translates it, and then broadcasts it all around to
right after he's done with the kaiju. Poor Superman just gets smacked in the face with this news broadcast of the other side of the message that he had never heard before. Is that is one thing when he was in the Fortress of Solitude before, he finds that message very soothing, is what the robots say, and they probably play it every single time he's being healed, because it just helps him and stuff. And like the content of the message that the robots have translated is like you get why it would be soothing to him, and you get why, you know, it's like it's very hopeful, and he takes a lot of inspiration from it, and you can understand why. And then just hearing the second half, it's just wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold on.
It was a surprise to me because the second half of the message is all about subjugation.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
And it was like that's I liked the subversion of the expectation. You know, like you expect that like any second half of the message would be, you know, like telling him, you know, just furthering that, you know, hopefulness, and that like, oh yeah, we want you to be like this guiding light for Earth, and you know all this stuff. And then surprise surprise, no it's not. And like I don't know how to feel about the twist, because it's just like I don't think it was handled super well in a way, because I was just like the rest of the movie, even though so many people were like, no, this message is legit, this is exactly what it says, I kept expecting it to be revealed that like either the translation was wrong, or like, you know, he paid the translators to make it say what he wanted it to say or something.
Right.
I was just like, I was expecting something to not be right about the broadcasted message, and then it was just like, nope, this is just what it says. I was just like, wait, hold on, what?
I feel like
which is interesting.
If they wanted to make it like, I feel like if they wanted to really like solidify that subversion twist, because I know that they say like Mr. Terrific says, man, they wouldn't lie about that. That's what they said. Like, and you know, sure, maybe he's right, but like I feel like it could have used a scene where maybe like Superman for the first time learns Kryptonian, like maybe from I don't know who.
Or like maybe the robots in the Fortress of Solitude, who the implication I got was that they helped him translate the first half.
Right.
Like maybe they could have said, no, this is accurate, unfortunately. You know, we've just never seen that second half before, or something. Like they could, someone that actually knows Kryptonian should have been the one to absolutely confirm, yes, no, this is exactly what it says.
Yeah, because
the
argument that it's real, it was only coming from sources that wouldn't be 200% sure.
Yeah, like Lex Luthor of all people is just like, yeah, no, this is legit. This is what it says. And I was just like, okay, why are we trusting Lex? Like this has got to be some kind of twist. This has got to be him twisting it, or like, you know, maybe like instead of. Maybe the message was supposed to say, like, we want you to guide and we want you to shepherd Earth, but then he made it say, like, he paid the translators to drum it up and be like, oh, no, it wasn't guiding, it was subjugation or something like that. And, yeah.
And that comment he made about his secret harem. Ugh.
Yeah, like, that part of the message, I did not, it felt like Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It gave me that vibe, and I did not really like that element of it. Just, you know, like, oh, take as many wives as you can, you know, repopulate the Earth with Kryptonians. I was just like, okay. That's going a little bit too far for me.
It gave me the same vibe as, like, No Way Home, where, like, everyone was defaming Spider-Man because of the fake message from Mysterio.
Yeah.
Right.
But, like, even if the message was real, which I'm still not 100%, like, sure that it is, because there was no way for Clark to confirm or deny it. Like, I was less upset about it because it's like how in some continuities of comics or animated movies they have Thomas Wayne be just as crooked as the rest of Gotham.
Right, like in the
Batman. Yeah. Like that scene did give me same vibe as when the Riddler revealed that Thomas and Martha were not altruistic people and had issues, and like, you know, Thomas inadvertently got somebody killed and stuff like that. Like that scene felt very similar to me to the one in Superman. But I don't know, something about it, just the scene in Superman just doesn't quite hit right for me. Like, I like the subversion of the expectation, but it was just like, I don't know, the way that it was revealed and the way that it was handled wasn't my favorite thing about the movie.
Right.
Like, that was my one, like, little gripe about it, but it is what it is. Like, it didn't distract, it doesn't mean I don't like the movie. It was just the one thing that I was just like, if you could just tweak that just a little bit. But anyway.
No movie's perfect.
And I just remembered that message wasn't the only thing Luthor took from the Solitude.
Yeah.
Because Superman comes bursting through his door, like, where's the dog?
They got the dog. But yeah, like I like that scene also real quick, like when Superman goes into that one building to get away from the crowd and like he's just standing like kind of bracing against that one like counter and he's just like trying to breathe and like trying to process what he just saw. And then like the Justice Gang come in and I was just like, okay, Guy Gardner, can you can you give him a second?
Yeah.
Just immediately like, oh, you got a secret harem? Okay,
yeah,
buddy.
literally.
Buddy.
You've
been working with this guy for 3 years. You don't know him well enough to know that he wouldn't have a secret harem.
Again, I don't like the character of Guy Gardner, but he was portrayed very well, so that was very on brand for him.
Okay, all right. And I do kind of like, that he was like, okay, if that message was actually true, like, he took it a bit seriously and was like, hey, like we've been working together, but like if that message was true, then you are what I was commandeered to fight. Like we're gonna have an issue here if this is actually true. And that was interesting.
Yeah.
Just that little bit of tension between Guy Gardner and Superman. And then Hawkgirl's just like, wait, well, where would they have gotten that footage anyway? And then that's when Superman realizes, oh shit.
Yeah.
The one place they could have gotten that is the one place they shouldn't have been able to get into.
Yeah, and he notices crypto's gone.
Yep. Poor buddy.
I love that he just bursts through the door. Luther doesn't even flinch when he flips his desk. He's just sitting there drinking his coffee.
Because he knows that he knows Superman is playing right into his hands.
True.
He's letting Superman dig his own grave, and it was just I felt so bad for Superman. He's just like had all of this dumped on him, and he's like trying to process it all, and then he realizes the dog is gone, and then he's just like, "Where's the dog?"
Although Luther didn't need to go. I don't know what dog you're talking about. Takes his drink. A little dog in a crate. What?
Yeah, no. I think that was just to further that instability in Superman, like the emotional instability, and just like get him to freak out even more, so that the footage that Eve was getting, or that chick, I think her name is Eve.
Yeah, it's Eve.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like
Eve Tessmacher. He is a character that was
dig his own grave
for Christopher Reeve movie.
Freaking rage baiting Superman.
Yeah, no, exactly. He was rage baiting him, and it worked, and it felt so bad. And that just made it all worse because all of the news was like, oh, look, he's just spiraling. He's getting more unstable. And like, oh, buddy, like, guys, come on.
and the scene that follows clears up something that's confused me ever since that first trailer came out, which is that I never understood that shot of him and Lois in an apartment, and then there's that thing outside. I'm like, buddy, because I saw the trailer out of context. I was like, buddy, shouldn't you be handling that?
Hey, you're supposed to be.
Yeah, but the
I do like that scene. Yeah, because it's like it's kind of mixing a little bit of humor and mostly this serious conversation between Lois and Superman. He's like talking about like how he wants to turn himself in, and to the government, and because maybe they're gonna take him to where they took crypto, and it's cute because like he's sipping hot chocolate the entire time because Lois makes him a cup of hot chocolate, and he like goes out of his way to say it's nice, he likes the hot chocolate and stuff. It was just cute.
And that's another thing that I like about Superman is that for all his godlike power, at his core, he's still just a small boy from Kansas.
Yeah. And like that scene is one of my favorites because there is like that one bit of dialogue, Lois is just like, I mean, you're going to do all of this for a dog? And Superman's, just like, oh yeah, he's not, yes, I'm going to do this for a dog. And he's not even a very, very good dog, but he's out there alone and he's probably scared. And so he's like, he feels like he has no choice. And I was just like, oh, that is so sweet. Like that is Superman to his core.
Yep.
It was such a good moment of, yes, this is actually Superman.
And then he hands himself over, and like I can't remember like why, but they handed him over specifically to Luther.
I guess because his like Planet Watch or whatever it was the only people that could like contain him.
That's right. I forgot about the Planet Watch thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
because then that's the engineer too.
Yeah.
There's the engineer and then Ultraman.
Yeah. And then you find out that Luther has like this pocket universe that he's been holding people in.
Yeah, that was wild. That was like one of the that whole sequence in the pocket dimension is like one of the darkest parts of the film.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just like, dang, like Luther's just been imprisoning like ex-girlfriends and, you know, like political rivals or whatever. And like, you know, just anybody that gets in his way basically is put in this pocket dimension.
But one of the other people he has in that pocket dimension is Metamorpho, who then uses his hand
Yeah.
to create kryptonite to weaken Superman.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was, oh man.
Or
Yeah, like
Metamorpho.
somebody right before Superman turns himself in, I think there was a one moment where it cuts to Luther and they were saying like, you know, if he turns himself in, like, what are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna contain him basically? And he says like, oh, I've got kryptonite or something. Or they're talking about how rare kryptonite is, and he's like, no, don't worry, I've got it or something. And I was just like, wait, does he actually have kryptonite? And then it was revealed Metamorpho, which funny thing, I somehow in the theater missed when they said it was Metamorpho. I thought it was Martian Manhunter.
Mm.
I mean,
The
they didn't
entire movie.
flat out
know
say
how.
Metamorpho. They called him the Element Man, which I guess is
Okay.
another one of his names, but I know him as Metamorpho. So.
Right. But it was just funny. I just, for some reason, I missed that, and I just thought it was Martian Manhunter, and I was like excited because I was like, "Oh, this is like one of the first live action Martian Manhunters we've had," and then it wasn't even him. But I do like Metamorpho. You know, like you could tell he doesn't really enjoy what he's doing, but he has to. And then it was revealed later that his son is being held hostage, so it's like it makes sense that he was, you know, having to do what he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't like that. I like that scene where Luther's questioning Superman. He uses that same guy from the beginning as leverage.
No. I know. I was just, dang. Like, that was so tense. But like for me, I was like half expecting somehow like either Metamorpho to stop poisoning Superman or Superman to like push through the kryptonite poisoning or somehow this guy was gonna make it.
Nope.
And then it was like the second or third time he, you know, played Russian roulette or whatever with the gun. It goes off. I was just like, oh my gosh.
And he's like,
my jaw was literally on the floor like the rest of the scene. I was just like, you gotta
and Lex was
me.
literally like,
That was
that
crazy.
happened a lot quicker than I thought it would.
Yeah, and then he's just like, I'm gonna go get somebody else you talked to or whatever.
Maybe that Clark Kent guy who always interviews you. Like, wow, you idiot.
Maybe I'll kill Clark Kent.
Stupid.
It's just like, boy.
Wow, to smack you around your bald head.
I felt so bad for Superman because, like, you know, he starts crying and mourning that guy. You know.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was so sad. And then, like, even Metamorpho was, you know, traumatized by it, and he was just like, you know, he didn't even do anything. Stuff, and then Metamorpho agrees to help Superman.
And Superman saves his son.
Superman's like, yeah, if Superman could rescue his son, he's like, yeah, I'll help you.
And also, at this point, we find out that Eve Teschmacher, who's infatuated with Jimmy Olsen, I guess, gives him evidence.
That was so random.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Like, every woman in the movie, except Lois, is like eyeing, you know, like kind of flirty or whatever with Jimmy, and I was just like, what?
This is the best game Jimmy's had in the past almost 100 years.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I was just like, all right, whatever.
But she gives him evidence that Luther was aiding the guy at Baravia for the Jurinpur's territory.
Yeah, and then also that Superman was in the pocket dimension.
Yeah. So Lois, I think, goes
for a full weekend with Jimmy.
Right. And so Lois goes to talk to the Justice Gang, like, you gotta help your friend, and they won't do it. But
yeah,
I made a vow to uphold. Like, oh my god, he says that every single time. Every time he says he doesn't want to do something. Every time he says he doesn't want to do something, he goes against his vow. That haircut should be against your vows. That what should be what?
I love the Guy Gardner disrespect. It was so funny.
Yeah, everyone gives Guy Gardner shit.
Oh yeah, but he deserves
no.
it though. Like, let's be real. He
totally.
It. But yeah, I love that, you know, Mr. Terrific ends up helping Lois, not only because he wants to and like wants to help Superman, but then also because it'll piss off Green Lantern.
Like when Lois is like pouring out like her relationship drama to him, he's like, I'm not really into people's emotions.
I'm not really into people's emotions. And then she's just like, yeah, no, I'm thinking out loud. And then she just keeps going.
Yeah, and he's just like,
just like side-eyeing her like, bro, are you serious? That was so funny.
And then we get like what I like to call a James Gunn style fight scene, which is it focuses on one character in a group of villains and takes them out almost seemingly with no effort. Yeah.
To a very cheesy song that shouldn't fit but somehow does.
Yeah. I love those James Gunn moments.
5 Years Time is the title of the song or something. I don't remember the artist, but I think the title of the song is 5 Years Time. But yeah, it was so funny. I loved that because Lois is like in this little bubble force field and she's just like, what is going on? As Mr. Terrific is just nailing these guys left and right.
And they find the pocket. They find a pocket dimension portal and find that it's like becoming unstable because because the longer you have it open, it's getting worse. And they're trying to leave it open. So
like, I can't believe he actually created a pocket dimension. Like that was so stupid. What do you mean?
So they try to open it to try to find Superman, and Superman and Metamorpho are trying to get out, and I think it's like Luthor's goons start coming to fight them, while they're he's running down that river or whatever.
Yeah, and they kind of knock Superman into that whatever antimatter or whatever that river thing was, and Superman just he's holding up the baby, as he's trying to get out of this river.
Yeah. And he's trying to whistle for Crypto, and Crypto comes, and he just starts, licking the baby. No, Crypto, we gotta get out of here!
We gotta get out of here! And then Crypto, starts eating Mr. Terrific's spears as they're searching for Superman.
Are you kidding me?
No! But yeah, then they were able to get out just in the nick of time, right before the portal collapsed in on itself.
Yeah. And then, I think Superman and Terrific fight off Ultraman and the Engineer in that baseball stadium.
Ooh, that was
after they go back to Mom and Pa Kent's, yeah.
Oh yeah! Oh gosh, you're right. I completely forgot about the Ma and Pa Kent scene. That was because he needed to heal. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was so cute because right after they get out of the portal, Superman notices that that Lois is there, and he's just like, "You came back for me," and she's like, "Yeah." And then she helps him up and into the thing, and she takes the ship to back to Mom and Pa Kent's, and then lets him recover from the kryptonite poisoning.
And there's that lovely scene between Clark and Jonathan Kent.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite things is they immediately start fussing over him and trying to take care of him, and Pa Kent, he just turns to Lois and he's just like, "Is our boy gonna be okay?"
Oh. Oh man,
they love him so much. It's so cute. But yeah, that scene between Clark and his dad was really, really good.
It was so that to me felt like the reasoning behind the subversion of Jor-El is it does because Jonathan Kent has a point. It's parents can't make you choose who you they can't choose who you are. You choose that,
right?
And it's your parents may not have had a different mission for you, but you decide who you are, Clark, and you decided to be a good man, and I'm proud of you for that.
Right, and that is an excellent message, but I wish it didn't come at the cost of villainizing his Kryptonian parents, because then now he has to completely reject that side of him, and or at least reject it in one sense, reject what Krypton stands for.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
which I feel
heritage. Which kind of more on his humanity.
To me, closes the door for some interesting storylines. If Krypton is bad, then why General Zod? How are you going to spin that, for example?
Right. I mean, General Zod is probably just going to be a typical Kryptonian, or maybe even worse than other Kryptonians or something. But yeah, no, it will be interesting to see if and how they handle Zod.
I actually did give that a thought. And since they don't really address what happened to Zod, they don't say, "Oh, he's in the Phantom Dimension" or whatever. They could have it a thing where Zod and his crew are out there, and then they come across Earth knowing that the son of Jor-El is out on it, and they're coming in to check on it, and wait a minute, he's not exuding his will on these people. These people are living freely. What is he doing? Yeah, he's not acting like us.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah, I was man, what? They come down and talk to him, man, what are you doing? You're for the people. Yeah. Okay, well, let me show you how Kryptonians do it, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that kind of happening.
And then like the Earth starts splitting. that was crazy when that started happening.
Yeah, Lex wanted to draw Superman out so they could finally fully kill him. And so he's like, yeah, he won't be able to ignore this.
Right.
Reopens the damaged portal. That
Yes.
was crazy.
Is Mr. Terrific's trying to figure it out, and he's like, Soups, we need your help out here.
Yep. And I do like that the movie goes out of its way to show that Metropolis has been evacuated or is being evacuated. Like, they go out of their way to make sure we understand there's not going to be some widespread casualty. You know, like, it's not going to be this mass casualty event. Like, they go out of their way very clearly. Like, everybody's evacuating, they're taking their pets, and, you know, they're getting out of Dodge real quick. Yeah! One little turtle. The one woman taking her turtle. That was cute.
And
I got turtles. Many more taquito.
And I love that, like, on the bridge, there was, like, like, she was literally the last car out, and the building was coming down, and Superman stopped it. It was like, that, like, yeah, and, like, they went out of their way to show every single life matters.
Right, yeah, and, like, back in the kaiju fight, like, one of the little tiny spoilers that I like to give people who are on the fence about this movie is I'm just like, well, I mean, like, you know, during the kaiju fight, like, he goes out of his way to save a dang squirrel.
Yeah, a squirrel!
Like, and a dog. Like, you know, he doesn't have to take that level of care. And, like, you know, at one point he had knocked the kaiju back, but then he has to circle around and prevent the kaiju from just crashing into a building. And, you know, like, he prevents it from hitting the building. And then, you know, at one point, the kaiju was blasting him with fire, and it almost got the people inside the building. And then he turns around after the fire and makes sure everybody is okay before he goes back to fighting the kaiju. Like, this movie just takes so much care to show you how much Superman cares about everyone and everything. It's so good.
Even to the point, and I can't believe we forgot to mention this, Superman wanted to stop the kaiju, not to kill it, which is what they ended up doing. And he was like, "Come on, man."
Yeah, the Justice League, the Justice Gang kind of did that on their own. And, you know, because Superman was trying to make sure that everybody else was okay and all the civilians were out of the way. And then they kill it. And he's just like, oh, man, like, I wanted to take it to Intergalactic Zoo, or, like, you know, at least put it down more humanely.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh,
golly.
Oh, yeah, no one loves that. Curse. Yeah, no, we love that because
barely at all.
Yeah, because there's a scene in Superman 2, the Richard Donner version of it, where he walks into a hotel room. Lois had just gotten out of the shower. She's in a towel. He goes, "Oh my gosh!" And like no one. I find that really funny. Just the way he's like, "Oh my gosh."
It's just funny because it's also because you don't really hear people say, like, at least you just don't hear people say stuff like that. Usually, like, swear, but not Superman. He'd be like, "Oh, good gosh."
Yeah.
Because he's a small town boy.
Yeah.
And I think that at one point they reveal that Ultraman is a clone of Superman, which is how they got into the Fortress of Solitude.
Right.
Yeah, which like, I did not clock that when they got into the Fortress of Solitude. I just like assumed Lex hacked it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure how they got into the Fortress of Solitude, but Lex could have figured it out. Like, I did not question it at all. And then, you know, like, they did reveal, oh yeah, he's a clone of you. And like, it was weird to see David Cornset's face, but it was just like really curly, wild hair, and he just like, it was just a different version of David Cornsweat. It was really interesting.
Right.
It's interesting that the clone of Superman is called Ultraman when the clone of Superman in the comics is Superboy, Con-El.
I think this was more meant to mirror Bizarro.
And
yeah,
Ultraman,
that's kind of where I was leaning.
And Ultraman is the name of an alternate evil version of Superman. It was just interesting to me.
Interesting, and yeah.
I like that little kind of rant that Luthor goes into about like, Galileo and like all these brilliant men. Their names are known, but they didn't like just fall out of the sky. They weren't just some person who came out of nowhere. They made a name for themselves. Right. It kind of leads into why
I'm
he
making
hates
the name
Superman.
for myself, and like that's why he hates Superman and like the metahumans and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard out of his mouth was blah 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 blah.
he starts like using Ultraman to beat the crap out of Superman. That whole 1A thing, and he's like,
that was
Brawn.
crazy.
And he whistles for Crypto.
Yeah, and then Ultraman like using his heat vision on Superman's eyes, like that was crazy. Oh, that was so. Anything with eyes just really gets me. I was so uncomfortable.
I agree. I'm the same way. Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good, and like Superman kind of figures out, oh, you're controlling him through these commands.
And
that was interesting because I was just like, don't you have super hearing? Like, couldn't you have heard him the entire time? But whatever. Maybe his super hearing isn't quite as good, or he didn't like activate his super hearing or something. But regardless, it's fine.
I think it's like Spider-Man Spider Sense. Like it's like you have to be like consciously using it.
That could be it. Yeah, I could see that.
And so he whistles for Crypto to take out the things that are monitoring the fight. And I think, doesn't Ultraman get sucked into the black hole that's in the rift?
At the end, yeah, because like once Luthor can't really see what's going on and direct Ultraman, Superman was able to get the upper hand, even though Lex Luthor said that Ultraman was supposed to be stronger than Superman, but somehow I kind of doubt that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He could have just been like bluffing or hyping him up or whatever. But regardless, Superman does kick the crap out of him, and using like around the crumbling edge of the rift is where they're fighting, which is really fun. And then Ultraman does end up getting knocked into the portal.
And then I think that's when he goes to Luthor, like he flies through the window.
Basically, yeah, because then Mr. Terrific catches up with him and is like, "Hey, quit messing around! I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff."
Yeah, I love that.
Then Superman and Crypto effortlessly take out like that horde of those like jetpack soldiers or whatever that Luthor had said.
Oh yeah, that was such a dope scene.
Oh gosh, like when he starts using his heat vision and just like spinning around, I was like, "Are you just straight up killing those guys?" But then the movie makes an effort to show you, no, he's not just killing them. Like he I guess had sliced through their jetpacks or whatever, and they just fall. But, yeah, it was just funny. Yeah, no. Then they go after Luthor, who was trying to like get away.
Yeah,
and he's all like, like, you're an alien. You're so like no, I'm human. I cry. I get scared. I do all this. Like that's my greatest power.
That speech was so good.
Yeah. And I love that he I love that he ended that whole like thing with, I hope one day you figure out it's your strength too. Like he's like, he doesn't despite what he did to him, he still sees Luthor has potential to be good. And I love that about Superman. It's like
as a human, like he still sees Luthor as a human.
Yeah.
And that is really good. I wish that scene could have just sat for a little bit and like we could have digested that before Crypto. Like Luthor's like getting up in Superman's face and is like doing his monologue, and then all of a sudden Crypto just snatches him and is like banging him around, and it was just like
going all Thor on his ass, or
Loki. Which is funny. But yeah,
I love that Superman was like, Crypto, stop it! I'm really sorry about him.
Yeah. I feel like there is an element of he genuinely wanted to stop Crypto, but then there was just a part of him that wasn't trying super hard because of everything that Luthor had put him through. Like there's just a small little fraction of him that's just like, all right, I'm gonna let this go for just a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, as long as he doesn't kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
Crypto, wait, stop.
Oh no, Crypto, oh. Crypto, no.
And then Lois and Jimmy put out on the Planet website all the dirt on Luthor.
Yeah.
And that scene with Hot Girl with the guy of Baravia is like, I know you're just a wuss like Superman. I'm not like Superman.
Like, that was another thing. Yeah, like that was another thing that Luthor was trying to make him choose between stopping the rift in Metropolis or going over and stopping Baravia from invading Lurhanpur or whatever that other country is. I can never remember how to say it.
Yeah.
Lurhanpur.
And then the Justice Gang showed up.
Yeah, that little scene with the kids holding up the flag and then the other kids leave, and it's just that one boy like desperately clinging to it.
Superman.
That was
Superman.
So good. Superman, and then the Justice Gang show up. Which, like,
Sorry,
people
kid,
pointed out,
Superman's
I didn't
busy.
really
You
catch
got an
this, but
upgrade.
people pointed out, like, they were there because they wanted to be, like, and because Superman did ask them, but, like, I get the feeling they're kind of, like, hired superheroes in a sense that, like, they are being sponsored by, I think it was, like, Maxwell Lord or something.
Hey, yep.
Yeah.
So, like, Maxwell Lord is kind of their boss and, like, kind of tells them what to do, but they went out of their way and, you know, did not wait for Maxwell Lord to send them over there. They're just like, oh yeah, Superman asked us to do this, and this is the right thing, objectively right thing to do. So they went over and were helping. Green Lantern and Hawk Girl went over to help Laurent Poor.
Like she
Yeah.
just dropped that guy.
Yeah, the guy was just like, "Oh yeah, you're not gonna do it. You're too delicate. You're a woman," or whatever. She just
You're
like
just like
smiles at him and
Superman.
lets
Like,
him go.
I'm not like Superman.
Yeah. Shoot.
And,
Yeah, you learned real quick, bud.
so all that dirt on Luther gets put out there, and he gets detained. And Metamorpho becomes part of the Justice Gang.
Yeah, that was just because he likes the name Justice Gang.
Yeah.
I like it. You're in.
That was funny.
And I loved the scene when Lois and Superman go into that, like, what was it, a mall or something? I think it was a mall.
Or a store or something.
They go to like a side building.
Yeah.
And, you know, for an interview.
Yeah, an
interview. Really, they just start kissing because they're both just so relieved to see each other.
Yeah.
And
that was so cute. Like, he just flies them up, and it's just like this slow little circle. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Paris like, how long has this been going on? And Jim's like, about 3 months.
I love that they all just immediately knew. They're just like, yep, there we go. Yeah, which brings me back to a point. Like, they don't seem to have told the Daily Planet that Clark and Lois are dating. Like, that seemed, because, like, you know, when they were kissing in Lois's apartment, like, she was saying, like, oh yeah, we had that fun banter going back and forth about your article, and it was like they didn't seem to have revealed to the Daily Planet that they were dating, which I thought was interesting.
Well, I think what's crazy too is that, like, because he was Superman at that moment, so like,
right.
So to them, it's just like, okay, so Lois is dating Superman. Like, they still have no idea it's Clark.
Right.
True.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? Good for her. Like, whatever.
And I love that, like, I think we might have forgot to bring this up, but, like, that scene before Superman turns himself over, he tells Lois that he loves her, and then in this scene, she says it back to him.
Yeah. He's like, I love it. I should have said that, but, you know, should have said that a long time ago.
I love that.
And she just doesn't really respond because she's still figuring out what she's feeling. And then she makes sure to tell him, hey, I love you. It's like, aw. And he just, the way he grins at her when she says that, it was so cute. I'm a sap for a good romance. What can I say?
Oh, yeah. And so I think that's when it's at the end when he recovers the fortress and he's fixing up the robots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He had, the robots had, like, kind of fixed themselves and then fixed up the fortress. Yeah.
And then freaking Kara swoops in all, like, I think she's drunk.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking after my dog, bitch.
That was so good.
Like, I understand. I've been told, and people are pointing out that, like, that is a very specific iteration of the comics that James Gunn seems to be adapting for this characterization of Supergirl. But it was kind of jarring for me to see her that way because I was not expecting that. I was expecting more like the cartoons, you know, which I probably shouldn't have been. You know, I shouldn't have assumed. But yeah, that was just a very interesting way to introduce the character.
I'm just curious how her origin is going to be explained, because when she was originally created, she was just Superman's cousin who got to Earth a little late.
Right.
But then
like an asteroid or something.
Yeah. And then they revamped it to where she's actually older than Kal-El. Like, she was supposed to go with him and protect him, but she got stuck in like an alternate dimension for 30 years. So when she finally made her way to Earth, he was already grown up and already Superman.
Right. Which I can't even imagine like how like devastating in a way that would be. You know,
yeah.
Like, oh, all of a sudden, like the one thing that you were supposed to do, you already failed at. And, you know, just trying to figure out what to do now. your cousin doesn't necessarily need you in the way that you thought he did. So it's just, yeah, that is a very interesting way to take the character.
Yeah.
And then
I am looking forward. I'm curious about the Supergirl movie, just given the characterization that we've already seen. But I have faith. I'm sure James Gunn is going to do good with her. But it was just again, it was very interesting. It was very interesting the way that he chose to introduce the character with that little cameo.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like that's also like the explanation for why Crypto behaves the way that he does. Is just because Supergirl just lets him knock her to the ground and jump on her and stuff. It's like, this is why he has behavioral issues. Yeah, no boundaries.
And then the robots start cycling through footage of his Earth parents to comfort him.
Yeah, because now he
soothes
finds that
him.
more soothing in the face of what his parents really are. So yeah, that was cute. That was adorable. Seeing all of the different little clips of young Clark and his mom and dad, and that was so cute.
Fun fact: the kid actor who played young Clark, was the I can't remember which one. It was one of the baby actors from WandaVision that played one of Wanda's kids.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So take that on the list of one of the actors who went from Marvel to DC, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of those.
No, yeah, because I think Hawk Girl was someone. Oh, who was she? I
She
think
was in
one of the
Madam
Guardians.
Web.
Yeah. Madam Web. Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
and of course, Nathan Fillion had a few minor roles in the Guardians movies, and then there was
Nicholas
a few different
Hoult.
ones from Marvel.
Nicholas Hoult, who played Lex Luthor, he played Beast in the prequel X-Men.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah. But yeah, no, I was not expecting to like this adaptation of Lex as much as I did. Like, I loved to hate him, basically.
That was the one thing, based on the trailers, I wasn't fully sold on until I saw the movie. Because I was like, I like this actor. I don't know if I see him as Lex, but I'll give him a shot.
No, I was like, yeah, exactly. That is exactly my opinion, too, is I was just like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm not seeing the vision here. And then he blew me out of the water. I was not expecting to enjoy that interpretation as much as I did. Man, you are such a bitch. Like, oh my lord. Like, man, in the face of like being defeated, like all he could do is just sit there fuming and like crying, basically. Like, you see kind of tears coming down his face because he knows that he's beat, but he's so furious about it. It was so good.
And I know that there were like I saw one of the end credits of like him and Crypto just looking at Earth.
Yeah, that was cute.
I didn't see the other one because I had to go to the bathroom.
It's basically it opens and Mr. Terrific and Superman are looking at one of the buildings. I can't remember if it was the Daily Planet building or one of the buildings in Metropolis that was split in half and it came back together. And Superman's just kind of looking at it and he's like, "Man, I don't know, it's kind of off." And Mr. Terrific's just like, "What?" He's like, "It's a little off." He's like, "What? You want me to break it apart and put it back together again?" Mr. Terrific is all happy.
I'm sorry. Wait, come back.
No, like, I didn't mean it like that.
Man, I can be such a jerk sometimes.
Oh, Clark.
Like, it's okay, buddy. You don't mean to. You didn't mean to be a jerk. It just accidentally happened. It was cute. Like, I don't know why, but one thing that I really want to have happen, and I think there is still a small shred of hope in my mind that this could happen, is I want Robert Pattinson's Batman to be the Batman for this universe. Like, after getting him more established, flesh him out a little bit more, give him a couple more movies. But I want this golden retriever Superman to meet the wet cat that is Batman.
The wet cat.
So bad. He has wet cat energy. I don't know what to say. He does.
That was the best analogy for Batman I've ever heard.
I mean, any Batman that going opposite David Cornsweet would have to be that kind of wet black cat energy.
Yeah,
but I don't want.
Dynamic.
I am so glad I caught that on recording.
Yeah, it's so funny. I want everybody. I think the nickname is starting to catch on. I've started to call this version of Superman Corn Soups And then, just like I call Robert Pattinson's Batman Battinson.
Mm.
But yeah, I want that nickname to catch on just as much as Battinson has.
Corn soups. I love it.
So funny. I love it. But yeah, no, I'm like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's just something about that the potential dynamic that I love so much. I want it to be a thing so bad.
Yeah, I wonder
I think
because
it'll be
like James Gunn hasn't really said who he's gonna what version of Batman he's gonna do, if he's gonna do that one or
right.
a whole new one.
And like I saw a video, it was like an intro for an edit or whatever, about Batman and Superman. This guy had asked James Gunn, and like James Gunn was kind of like not necessarily shooting it down, but not confirming it. He's like, I can't really say because people are kind of whatever. And then it goes to the same guy asking Matt Reeves, the director of the Batman. He's like, hey, like there's been some talk, James Gunn, he might want Robert Pattinson to be in the DCU. Like, what do you think about that? And Matt Reeves was like, well, I don't know. Like, we'd have to make sure it makes sense or whatever. And he's like, well, if James Gunn does decide that it does make sense and he does want Robert Pattinson to be in this DCU, what do you think? And he was like, well, we'll have to see how it goes. So I'm just like, I'm holding out the hope that maybe they're playing coy and they don't want to confirm it. But I feel like maybe there's still a chance.
Of course, if that does end up being the case, that would mean that The Batman is the first movie in this new DC universe. Since it came out first.
Right. And I've seen people going back and forth on it. I've seen people like super into it like I am. And then there's people that are like, well, I don't know. There's two different tones. And I was like, that's comic books.
Yeah.
Like, all comic books, there's so many different vibes and so many different tones in comic books. Like, especially Superman and Batman. Like, those two tones are in the comics and they mesh together so well. Like, it would work. It would work so well, I feel like.
Yeah, that argument is coming from people who have never heard of these characters, like, really.
Right. Or, like, read a lot of comics.
It's like, they have two different tones. I'm like, and?
And?
Yeah, no, literally. And? Like, your point?
You know what's funny is, of the three people here, they're the exact ends of the spectrum. Because, you, Lupine, you liked Battinson.
Yes, very much.
Noah didn't.
Nope.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. In my defense, I have a raging hate boner for Robert Pattinson as an actor. I hate everything I've ever seen him in, which is Twilight and Harry Potter. So I just do not like him as an actor. Okay. 2, I did not like the vibe of the Batman. I didn't like that he didn't go by Batman. I didn't like that Thomas Wayne was crooked. I didn't like that the Riddler wasn't a riddle-ridden villain. I hated that design. I just it didn't feel like a Batman movie to me. It felt like a detective story that happened to have a Batman mod attached to it,
Okay, I see that. But like, to me, the Christopher Nolan's Batman relied too much on his gadgets and didn't really show the world's greatest detective. And to me, even though Robert Pattinson's Batman is still very young, like he's only been at this for 2 years, like he's still making mistakes, but you can see the potential, and like they showcased his detective skills. For me, that's the big thing that I really like about it. And I like the darker, grittier kind of detective noir style of the story for me. And I do kind of like that they took Riddler a little bit more seriously. And I feel like he did use some riddles, but I see what you're saying about him not being the same kind of riddles and not, I kind of see what you're saying, but I still just adore Robert Pattinson's Batman.
And
I feel like it's
and then there's me, where I didn't hate the Batman. I actually liked it. But in terms of like going forward with the DC universe with corn soups, I would be fine with they use Pattinson, but I'd also be fine if they didn't. I'm kind of like middle of the road there.
Yeah. Right.
I feel like we should start using more unknowns for this universe just to establish its own identity as a cinematic universe.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's so many different versions of Batman. I feel like we need to really, really flesh one out and like keep one consistent. Right. For me, that's kind of why I would really like for Pattinson to be the DCU's Batman. But again, like, I'm not saying like right now as he is at the end of the Batman. Like, give him some more time. Let him establish himself more as Batman, learn how to, be like, get his foot under him as a detective more, like maybe set up a Robin, like just really flesh his character out and then introduce him to the wider universe and like, maybe have Superman be the one to recruit him into the Justice League and, he could just be the word cryptid in the corner at first. I feel like it would be so awkward but so funny if Pattinson met the Justice Gang.
You've got really good analogies.
Thank you.
All right, so speaking of the Justice Gang, the fact that they're backed by Maxwell Lord was a big red flag to me because Maxwell Lord is a well-established villain in the DC universe.
Oh.
Also, their matching costumes I thought was a dumb idea, especially for Green Lantern, because if you look at Guy Gardner in the comic books and compare him to other Green Lanterns, his uniform stands out. He did not stand out in this like a costume. I
feel like maybe if Maxwell Lord is going to be a villain in this take, I feel like maybe the Justice League are going to realize that he's a villain and break away from him and start their own, like establish themselves as separate from him. Because I think right now they're just sponsored by him. So I feel like they're gonna maybe have to cut ties with him when it's revealed that he's a villain or something.
I was hoping they were going to do it by the end of the movie because I wanted to see Guy in a more colorful suit.
Someone on TikTok did point out that if you look at their outfits, mainly hot girls, there is an insignia on their suits that somewhat resembles a J and an L.
That is true. I did see that.
Maybe I half expected somebody to like start throwing around Justice League or like try to come up with other names for the team. But I'm not surprised that they didn't do that because that would have played a little bit too much into the campiness or whatever. So
yeah,
but it was just I kept half expecting that.
Also, you got to like establish that's what Marvel did. They didn't even the Avengers were like what the 5th, 6th movie in the franchise.
Yes, but to be fair, bro, in Iron Man, the first one of the MCU, in the end credit scene, Nick Fury does say outright, "I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative." So
that is true.
They said the word from movie one.
They did make it, they did make it very clear that that's where these movies were headed.
Yeah.
And then it culminated in the Avengers, which I remember going to see that movie in the theaters. It was so cool.
It was.
Yeah, I'm looking forward very much to seeing where this universe is going.
Oh, same.
I think it'll be really, really fun.
I just want good DC movies. I just want, because I was a DC fan for many years before I was a Marvel fan. And I want to see my favorite comic book heroes done justice.
Right.
But
yeah, I agree. It's like I am a general DC fan, but specifically I am a Batman. Like I love Batman. Is my favorite superhero. I love Batman so much.
Fair.
So it's been really fun to have like what I would consider a very, very good adaptation of the Batman. And I'm enjoying Superman. Like again, I very much looking forward to where this universe is going and all the different things that they're going to do. I've heard that they're going to do like an R-rated body horror Clayface movie and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds terrifying."
Yeah, I'm curious to see where that one goes.
Right, like that's going to be a nightmare. I'm like, that's another thing that people are bringing up with Pattinson is they're just like, well, that wouldn't, you couldn't have Clayface in this universe. And I'm like, says who?
Yeah,
like,
says who?
They had the Riddler flood the entire city and vlog his, Twitch stream, basically, his murders. Like, I feel like you could open the door, as long as you do it realistically, and kind of not just abruptly go into campy Batman Rogues Gallery shenanigans,
right?
Like set it up a little bit, sure, but like I feel like that's not an issue.
Yeah,
I feel like you can do like I said, Rogues Gallery shenanigans in this universe as long as you do it realistically and as long as you make sure to set it up and it'd probably be a more gritty take on the Rogues Gallery villains, but like I feel like they could definitely make it work and it would make sense.
Yeah. I feel like that person is just expecting it to go from the Batman to da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Right. And I'm like, that's probably not going to happen.
No.
Like, it was just very interesting.
But that was our review for Superman. It was, I mean, like, I feel like 10 out of 10.
Oh,
Yep.
or at the very least, if I had to deduct points, it would probably be at the lowest 8.5, just because like the twist with the parents wasn't handled super well. The pacing could be a little bit off at some points, but like overall, 9 out of 10 at the very at minimum.
Right.
It's very, very good, very enjoyable.
Yep.
And that does it for this one. We will see you guys next time.